Welcome everybody, live, under the mat radio. This is your host Tech with my correspondent, Afro-Central Queen, who will
Yes,
be
I'm
joining us
here.
momentarily. How you feeling, Afro-Central Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Happy New Year to everyone under the mat radio. Today's title is Wrestle Kingdom. In the beginnings, we do apologize for technical difficulties with Blog Talk and ran a little behind today with some things. So just to remind everybody that starting on the new year, we went back to our originally scheduled time at 7 p.m. So we will be live every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Due to a few delays and technical difficulties, we had to air tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll have Sister Queen joining us. We're also going to have Toph, other great correspondent, joining us. Saltine is a little bit under the weather, so hopefully he feels better. Maybe he will call in, maybe he won't. We also joining us may have Brother Featherstone from Pancakes and Power Slams. May join us as well. We'll be talking about a plethora of topics, such as Wrestle Kingdom 11, which will be live here in the States at 3 a.m. on Wednesday, happening in Japan. We'll be going over that card. We'll also be talking briefly about Monday Night Raw last night with Goldberg's return, our thoughts of the Royal Rumble, how it's shaping up, thoughts on WrestleMania rumored matches, and some other breaking news that Angry Mark had broke on Twitter earlier today. We'll also be mentioning about upcoming movies for the year 2017. So, and for those of you who are fans, today is the debut, that's the return of Have and Have Nots. Tyler Perry show, which everyone's loving. Ever since your Queen, big fan of the show. My Mom Attack, Babe Mel, and a whole bunch of people. So before we get posting up about our social media and how to follow us and contact us, Ever since your Queen, for any spoiler alerts, let us know your thoughts of the season premiere of Have and Have Nots, or HAHN, as they say on Twitter.
It started off with a bang. If anybody hasn't watched it yet, I'm sorry, but yes, I just got finished watching it, and it is like totally off the hook. It's just a lot of stuff going down. Veronica's been scared shitless by Catherine, and Catherine's gone off her rocker shooting the deputy. I think she's DA, cop something. I don't know what she was, and now she's terrorizing Veronica in the house.
That's a Kathy Bates looking chick, right, Catherine?
Yes, Catherine White. Catherine White. Her son Wyatt has woken up from his induced coma from last season from overdosing.
Cocaine's hell of a drug.
This is couldn't handle him. Jeffrey has finally told the cops what's going on in the backyard. They found out that Quincy's buried back there, and said that him and Candace had something to do with it, but didn't really get out the whole story of why they stabbed him. Candace beat up on Oscar, who finally revealed his name, and she took a lead pipe to him. It was just it was just crazy. Her brother and her mom being kicked out of the house, and of course her mom then told her brother that she keeps lying, and she's just still doing her. It's just been off the hook.
Oh man, crazy show.
Yes, it
crazy
is.
Show.
Very.
Yes, it is. To anybody that anybody listening that may not know about Have and Have Nots, give them a brief introduction, overview of what the show is about.
It's just about the haves. Of course, if anybody understood, the haves are the rich people who can do any and everything with the show of money, the have-nots, the ones who's trying to, make ends meet. The have-nots are basically Candace's mom and her brother and herself, because, of course, she goes out and sells herself to get money and, doing crazy stuff to extort money out of the criers. And, of course, the criers who are rich and up there, with Catherine being on the board of the bank, and actually she's an heiress. Her husband is a judge who's in jail from last season they just all did a whole bunch of stuff. It's just really, really crazy. That's basically all the I can give on that one.
Yeah, very good show. Very
Yes, if anybody hasn't seen it, please go back over the seasons to find out what's going on, and I promise you that you will be hooked. If you got tech being hooked to the have and the have-nots, it's good.
Yeah, sure. Well, don't forget, fans, you can call us, give us a call, 347-677-1862. That is 347-677-1862. Don't forget you can tweet us on Twitter, our Twitter page, @tech_UTMR. Email us at underthemetradio@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook, Under the Mat Radio. You see our group page and our like page. And our Instagram is Under the Mat Radio, all one word. And don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. Same name as the show. As everybody to call in and talk about Wonder Woman, all these upcoming great shows, Smackdown live results, thoughts of Raw, and what's happening lately. So, of course, we're waiting for Tough to call in to talk about Wrestle Kingdom. And also, we have a caller. Our caller on the line, 860 area code. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
Hey, what's up, guys? Nate, what's up?
Hey, Nate, what's going on, man?
Hey, can you answer me one question? Why is watching Raw like drinking bleach and then SmackDown's like drinking fine wine?
That's a good question.
I'm loving the Ziggler thing, man. He's turning full heel. It sounds like, it's almost like 97 Bret Hart bullshit mode. So I'm hoping, Kenny Omega, he's getting ready. Hopefully he comes to WWE. But SmackDown, they're doing everything right, and Raw is doing everything wrong. It's like night and day. It's just crazy how the two shows are so much different.
Doesn't it remind you of a little bit of how the original brand split was? Back in, was it 02, 03-ish? And it's funny because the Raw announce table was moved to the same spot, and how back then SmackDown, some would say, was the better show. Now, granted, Raw wasn't really as bad as it is now, but SmackDown, both shows felt different. At least back in the original brand split, Raw was more watchable. Raw was Raw, but it had a different feel, wasn't as agonizing to watch as it is now. SmackDown, of course, had more of a faster pace to it. It was more about wrestling, during the ruthless aggression era as it is now. Of course, never thought this last year or so we was talking, nobody watching SmackDown. SmackDown is a waste of time. And now it's the reverse. For those that haven't watched it yet, of course, SmackDown is just finished up being live. Those that don't know, please give a little details slightly on Hail Ziggler, which I know is one of the top tweets right now that's trending on Twitter. Nate, if you could give a little detail.
Oh, what about Ziggler? Oh yeah, he's just great. He's getting that frustrated mode, man. It just reminded me of Bret Hart when he was flipping out in '97, man. He's getting frustrated, so it's just great. The only thing Raw was probably did good, on Monday was like the end with like Goldberg, Reigns, and Strowman and everything. I tell you right now, I got some leak audio. I found Vince McMahon's getting excited. There's a lot of beef in that ring Monday night. But anyway. I got to get going. I got to go to work, but
if you can, give a little bit details. Okay. Thanks, Nick, for calling in.
Well, Vince? Oh, man, I'll send you the link later. Oh,
Okay.
he was excited, man. He was like, oh, yeah, look at the beef. Look at the Goldberg. Look at Roman Reigns and Strowman. Oh, I love that beef in the ring. Where's Big Cass? Get him out of the shower. Send him to the ring. Vince is getting crazy. You know, he's getting ready for that beef. Getting ready for that beef for the Royal Rumble. But now Raw is just death, and I enjoy SmackDown. It's just crazy how much I enjoy SmackDown and Raw. Raw is like a chore, but it's turned into a slow death for me. You know, I'd rather sleep before I go to work than watch this stuff or drink bleach or hang myself with a rope or something. But whatever. Anyways, you guys have a nice week. I'm gonna get ready. Hopefully I can find a link. Watch Wrestle Kingdom 11 at work.
Yeah.
Be
I
a
have
good show.
multiple people currently DMing me now about the link. So I'm pretty sure between myself, Toph, and Otto, we got Toph Live now, Saltine, somebody will find a link, or go over someone's house that has the access channel to watch it. But Nate, thanks, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, but that was Nate from Inside Wrestling, calling in, of course, always giving us the great details of what Vince McMahon is saying behind closed doors about storylines. Toph, welcome, man. Happy New Year. Haven't talked to you since the New Year. Since last year, I should say. How you feeling?
I'm doing good today. I'm just getting ready for Wrestle Kingdom. Have a big Wrestle Kingdom party every year. Most folks usually have a WrestleMania party. I'm the weird guy. I have a Wrestle Kingdom party, so just setting up everything. I got the beer and the pizza ready. Yes, I drink beer. Don't say anything. I'm doing good.
Wait. Are you bringing in the New Year different? You drink beer now? I thought you was all at with you.
I told you, man. Wrestle Kingdom is my show, dude. I'm never hyped for wrestling.
You only drink beer once a year for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm like Taker, man. Arrive, Wrestle Kingdom, drink beer, pass out.
Well, if you're watching Wrestle Kingdom, and that is the Japanese WrestleMania, that means you would have to be drinking sake. You to drink.
Well, you're not gonna get all anime on me.
Say it again, Soph. I'm sorry.
I said you don't have to get all anime on me.
Well, anime is, it's culture. Try that sake. I don't know if they sell sake in Atlanta or Georgia, but pretty sure there's a way in it. But yes, it's Wrestle Kingdom. I'm sure we're working on the links as we speak. Well, like you say, you have Toph just have a WrestleMania party. I'm sorry, a Wrestle Kingdom party. The only day of the year that Toph will be partaking in beer. Of course, in lieu of Angry Mark, who rose from the grave, sent out some tweets. What kind of beer do you tend to drink when you watch Wrestle Kingdom, Toph?
I don't really have tolerance for alcohol. Stuff like tequila and liquor and all that other stuff. I like Smirnoff. I like the different types of stuff. I like wine. I experiment with stuff like that. It was brought to my attention. Apparently most dudes don't drink fruity drinks because they think it's gay or something. That's
PMK does. Yeah, a good old buddy PMK. PMK, he drinks fruity drinks.
Yeah, well, I don't care what anyone says. I'd like to drink the more the fruity stuff. Just straight up alcohol just doesn't taste good. It tastes like it doesn't taste good. I don't see how people drink it, but hey, man, it's their stomachs, not mine. I'm not going to have liver cancer like 20 years from now, so I'll be good.
All right, Saltine, are you there, brother? I know you're a little under the weather. You with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I got my ass whooped. I was puking, and, it just gotten terrible. How everybody doing?
Oh, man. What got you, Saltine? Did 2016 still trying to hang around with you? Or?
Yeah, probably so. Huh. I'm here for y'all. I love y'all, and, I'm going to start kicking ass this damn whatever I got.
Yeah, of course, and thank you for being a supporter. I want to give a shout-out to a brother in the business of radio, I should say, podcasting. Good old brother Joe Cronin. Great guy, great show. Who definitely follows us, a fan of our show. We definitely love his stuff. So, Cronin, keep doing the great work. I listened to his episode yesterday, so definitely love that. I believe Angry Mark did tweet out that he had a Hulk Hogan major update. So Angry Mark might be coming in with the new year. You know, we haven't spoken to Angry Mark in a few months, and he's been very busy. He's a very busy man. You know, doing a lot of work in his business. Definitely gives back to the community. So like I said, shout out to Joe Cronin. Hopefully you'll call in or hit us up and give his thoughts on Raw, SmackDown, and whatnot. Thank you, JNN Jets, one of our great fans. Just sent a tweet out. We're going to read your tweet. JNN Jets says, Happy New Year. Thoughts? Or wants to know our thoughts on the WWE UK Championship tourney, and should they now have a global championship? Thanks. Thank you, JNN Jets. Has always been a great fan that you are. I'm funny, we're not sure if you are male or female, but thank you for your love, JNN Jets. So with the question, Jets wants to know our thoughts on the UK Championship. I'm going to start off with Africa's your queen. Let us know briefly your thoughts on the tournament.
I'm hoping it's not going to be like the cruiserweight. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit better. I mean, I know it's another notch under the WWE Network belt. I just hope they don't, I think Triple H has a hold of it and think it'll be good.
Okay. All right. Saltine, what you think on the UK Championship?
I think it's a great idea because I was always, I love British wrestling, and their moveset is, like, amazing. Like we talked about Tech on Privates. We talked about Will Ospreay and Marty Scurll. Like, that's our two favorites. Like, ever since then, I've seen them like, yeah, British wrestling getting better. So I always was a fan of British wrestling, and, I think it will make an impact. And I hope they make it a main title on the show, to be honest with you. I want to see how they can go on Raw or SmackDown. But to me, it belongs on SmackDown.
I agree with that.
Thanks for that. So, Toph, your thoughts?
I'm not really too sure. I think WWE has too many titles as it is. British wrestling is hit or miss, really. When I see British wrestlers, I either like them or I think they're boring. I like Douglas Williams in TNA, but I thought Zack Sabre Jr., I thought his style was very boring. Will Ospreay is very athletic, but there's no storytelling. It's just a bunch of flips and stuff. So their style is very hit or miss, basically. You either see them and you're like, wow, that's really cool, or you're just kind of like bored. So I'm not really familiar with anybody on their show. So I don't really follow their scene like that. We'll have to see. I don't really have an opinion. I'll probably check out like 1 or 2 episodes. I feel like that's usually enough to, get hooked or to tell if you're going to be hooked or not. So I hope it works out. And I don't really have much else to say because I don't know anything about the UK. So,
We fish and chips,
What culture pro wrestling? What culture pro wrestling has more of the British style?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Wild Culture. Shout out to you, Wild Culture. We apologize for the computer music in the background. It's all good. It's having fun. Yeah, computer games playing in the back. Raining in the year. The UK tournament, I think it is a good thing. The other thing we mentioned on previous shows is that you have Nigel McGuinness from Ring of Honor is now with WWE commentating, which I love the move. I mean, sad for RH that they'll lose him, but who better to have him commentate and talk about it, because he had which I thought such a great career. They get cut short with his illness. Anybody get a chance, please look up Nigel McGuinness. His matches with Daniel Bryan and Nakamura, Samoa Joe, or the RH days is just wonderful. And even his work as Desmond Wolfe in TNA, the feud he had with Kurt Angle and and his short stint there was well received as also. But yeah, just got confirmation. Joe Cronin to say he might be calling in within an hour, so we might be bringing him in as well. And he's going live. So shout out to you, Joe. We're both going live simultaneous shows as we speak. Talking about SmackDown. But the one thing that I do feel, you have Nigel McGuinness with WWE, and then it's the question of, is it oversaturation? I know Tofi mentioned this before. It's funny, Sting said it on an interview, I believe a couple years ago, and some other legends about how they felt the wrestling fans is oversaturated with wrestling. It's so much that goes on. You have a 3-hour Raw. You have a 2-hour SmackDown. So 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, that's 5 hours of wrestling as it is. If you want to count the new show that was on last night with Jibble and Heyman, the debate show that basically is the same format as the ESPN debate shows I watch all the time. Technically, that's 6 hours of, I say 5 hours of wrestling. You can't really count that. That's a show. So Monday and Tuesday, you have 5 hours of wrestling.
Jibble?
Yeah, Jibble, JBL. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
It's a nickname that I just started saying. I just actually started spelling out his initials like we call RVD Rivet, but I actually found out through some of our friends in the business that some do call him Jibble. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
you got 5 hours Monday and Tuesday, Raw, SmackDown, and Live. You have NXT on Wednesday. What's NXT? An hour?
Yeah.
So that's 6 hours as it is. 3 straight days.
Third, got over 1,000 hours on the network with new shows.
Right, you got over 1,000
coming
plus.
in.
Right, 1,000 hours to the network. You got 6 hours. You got Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Not to include, you have Lucha. Well, just WWE as itself. Anything on Fridays, guys, or the weekends. So you have 6 hours of wrestling on WWE. You have the network. Lucha Underground comes on each week. RH comes on depending on where you live, depending on if you can catch it. And then you have the network. You have YouTube. So it's so much wrestling.
New Japan.
And now you have the UK.
TNA.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have TNA.
Yeah.
So that's 2 hours.
It's too much. When you have all that wrestling focused on WWE, just based off that alone, it tires you out and it makes you not want to watch anything else. So obviously WWE doesn't have any competition. I'm not saying they do, but when they overexpose their product like that, like that's what they're doing. Like they're low key putting out so much stuff for one product that it doesn't give you time to watch something else. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you watch 2 TV shows and like one show has like, I don't know, 30 episodes and the other one has like 10. Like which one are you going to invest in? You know what I'm saying? Like especially if you've been watching the one that has 30 longer. So it's too much. So, but
yeah, it's like you said, you got 6 hours of WWE, you got Lucha Underground, which equivalates to 8 hours of wrestling during the week. TNA, you got 10. So you got 10 hours of wrestling during the week, which back in the day was like, oh, man, that's great. But you got the network and YouTube. Shout out to Daily Motion, those who still use it. So it's just so much wrestling. And then you got the UK tournament going on. And then that's going to be an extra, hour or 2 a week. And then you have the pay-per-views, which is twice a month. And that's a good 3+ hours. So it's just so much. And like you said, too much can be bad. As opposed back in the day, you just had Raw, which was 2 hours or Raw 2 hours, or back when it was just 1 hour. But still, 3-hour Nitro, the 2-hour Raw. So you had to flip channels. Then you had SmackDown, and you had Thunder. Yes, I mentioned Thunder. But even then, still, it wasn't as much because you had a break. Of course, Monday was the War, so that's 5 hours of wrestling you tried to cram in flipping channels. It's full DVRs and all of that, unless you had 2 TVs and was using a VCR, what people call a video cassette player. Smackdown was on Thursdays back then, which was 2 hours, which wasn't bad. Thunder was on Thursdays, which was 2 hours, which was still okay. And you still had WWF Superstars was on hour. Saturday, WCW Saturday Night, which was 2. But you still had time to rest. After Monday, you had Thursday, so you had a good 2 days to digest before you saw wrestling again. Wasn't no network, wasn't no internet, wasn't no YouTube or Daily Motion. If you had tapes, you would trade them. That was it. Now, with like you said, it's so much. And granted, I love wrestling like anyone else. Like you said, too much can be overwhelming. Okay, we just solved the mystery, guys. JN Jets is a mister. He said, thanks to you guys, Mr. Jack, appreciate it. Mr. JN Jets, otherwise known as Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas. We're still going to call you by your hashtag name. Actually like that as itself. He wants to know our predictions for the Rumble match itself, which also can coincide to our thoughts on Raw. So, Raw starts, which we'll get into Raw later on. And a lot of times with WWE, they kind of foreshadow a lot, kind of tell you what they're going to do. Goldberg comes out with his jacket, motorcycle jacket, comes out already blown out, walking in the ring, talks a little bit. I kind of like the segment with Heyman and Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns and Owens and Jericho. I felt it was a little rushed. I feel segments like that, that's when you need the 20 minutes that you normally take for Raw to start off with for that boring talking. That could have been 20 minutes where you had time to have the interaction between Jericho and Owens and Goldberg and Reigns and Braun Strowman, who just talks like one of them default villains from Xena Warrior Princess of Hercules. The way that they're setting it up is you kind of already know who's going to be the finalists in the Rumble. You got Brock, you got Goldberg, you got Reigns, you got Reigns, you got Strowman. Before we even get to Raw I'm sorry, I'm saying Reigns. Reigns won't be in the Rumble. Reigns is going against Kevin Owens. So you kind of look at it as between Brock, Goldberg, Taker, which is Tom will be in the Rumble, and Strowman. That's my predictions of the Final Four. Before we even get to Raw, Essence and Queen, what are your thoughts on the Rumble match?
Before I get into that, I really, really would like to see WWE take it back to the old days of the Royal Rumble when you didn't know who was going to be in the Rumble and the excitement of the countdown and find out who's coming in. And then I would also like the surprises of bringing people back, you know. My prediction, that's going to be kind of hard. I'm thinking they're going to get at to Goldberg. And as for the Final Four, yeah, I agree with you. With who they're going to have in there as the Final Four.
All right, I'm going to go with Toph next. So, Toph, your thoughts of the Rumble match, who do you think going to be the Final Four? Toph, you still with us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know sometimes we do it for delay. Your thoughts of the Rumble match, who do you think is going to be the Final Four?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Afrocentric Cream. The Rumble is more fun the less you know about it. And I think the Internet has kind of hurt the Rumble in that aspect because, you see all these pictures of who's in it and who's backstage, who's the surprises they've used. It's not as fun as it used to be. So it's one of the few shows of the year where I try to go in knowing as little as possible. It's just really hard to do that now. I also like the Final Four as well, but I couldn't tell you who they're going to be. They don't know. It'll just be whoever they come up with the night of, I guess. So, but I think Strowman will look strong.
The moment of.
Yeah, the moment of. I think that Strowman will probably be part of the Final Four. Probably him and maybe him and Corbin. But I don't think either of them is going to win. But yeah.
Yeah, it's really looking like that. Saltine.
That's a good one. Well, as as Afrocentric Queen told say, I like it when you don't even know what's going on, who's coming in, because, there's internet ruling a lot. So, Final Four I would choose would be Corbin, Brock Lesnar, Strowman, and probably Goldberg. They're going to, try to eliminate a whole bunch of people. So, I'm gonna see how that's going to go with that Royal Rumble.
I will say that, like Soph mentioned, is not many pay-per-views you really get excited for anymore, because you got the dirt sheets, and then, of course, us being media, you get to get a lot of tips and know what's going to happen before it does. And I will say with this Rumble, I'm really looking forward to it to really see what will happen. Of course, like I said, WWE really don't even know what they're going to do. And it's funny because the same thing that WWE used to crack on, using slang here, crack, which means get on or pick with or joke with, WWE used to crack on WCW about it. Oh, they rewrite their scripts as the show goes on. You're doing the same exact thing. But with Raw, with the Rumble, as Joe Cronin mentioned, as Featherstone mentioned on their shows, and as I said before, they're pretty much setting it up. There's going to be a Raw guy that's going to win the Rumble, the way it looks. But it could change. Now you hear talks that Undertaker could be coming into the Rumble, and Jericho's now in the Rumble. So I did miss Smackdown tonight. Have they told Essence Your Queen, Saltine, have they announced anyone in SmackDown that's going to be in the Rumble match?
So far, just Corbin. Corbin says he'll be in the Rumble. That's all they got so far.
Oh, he talks now?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, he
talks. He just didn't pay no attention to him, that's all.
Okay. I like Baron Corbin. I like, the development of these stars. I think Corbin and Strowman will be the one that they're really going to make look strong.
I think the positive I'll give WWE this year, someone asked me a very good question this morning. It was a question so good that I actually told them that I needed time to think about it. And I normally don't get that. Normally if someone asks me a wrestling-related question, I can just give them an answer right there. A friend of mine from school, he asked me, who was the last Royal Rumble winner that was a genuine surprise? It's one of those questions that seems easy, but when you think about it, it's like, no, not really, because the past few winners have all been pretty obvious. So I thought about it for a while, and I actually couldn't give them one, because that's how long it's been. So I'll give them credit, though, just based off what they're doing right now. There's a few names, but there isn't one name that sticks out as like, oh, he's winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Essence Queen, Saltine, do y'all agree with... that's a good question, the anonymous asker. We're going to call him or her that, the anonymous asker. Said, do y'all agree with that?
Yeah, it has been a long time for that, man. Because you think like, hey, yeah, like we know who the Royal Rumble, because they put it out so fast. I'm like, oh, really? That kind of like ruined the surprise. That's why I don't even go on the site anymore, so I don't know who win the Rumble, and that sucks. And plus, they put it on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, oh no, please don't do this to us. Let's just like keep the element of surprise. And it's sickening, and it really gets sickening, and it makes wrestling like, oh, really? So I'm not even going to watch the show because of that. Wow.
Ever since Queen.
Yeah, I agree with Saltine. They just need to stop. I just wish they just not, make it so obvious of who's going to win the Rumble. It's no element of surprise anymore. And the only thing I really look forward to when the Rumble comes up is what Kofi's going to do to stay in the Rumble. Because Kofi's always doing something, so what is he going to give us this year? That's if he enters. Every year that he's been in the Rumble, it's like he has this trick up his sleeve not to get eliminated, from doing handstands and walking up the steps to using one of the wrestlers to get him back into the ring, to him using the chair to bounce and jump over to the ring. I mean, that's my only enjoyment right there is what is Kofi gonna be doing for the Rumble this year.
Well, I believe New Day did say verbatim that they were dipping their sticks in 2017. I think didn't New Day officially enter in the Rumble last night? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. So for the first time, we might see some seeds being planted that they're going to try to, whatever it is they got planned for them. Because that's kind of been one of the big criticisms about the New Day is that they've been around for a while, and it's like every time there's a match where they could potentially face each other, like they're not in it for whatever reason, or just one of them is in it, like one of them's in Money in the Bank or like one of them's in Rumble. But they said all of them are going to be in there. So I expect that we'll probably see something. So whatever breakup scenario you have, the seed will probably be planted there. So,
One thing's for sure, all three of them are black. They're not gonna go too far. But out of the New Day, who out of the three will be eliminated first? And I think it's gonna go to Xavier Woods, because as Titus O'Neil said as he was twerking, that Xavier Woods is the weak link.
My only request is to piggyback on what Afrocentric Queen was saying. My beef with Kofi is every year they come up with something for him to save himself from being eliminated. So he should at least make the Final Four at least once. I'm not saying he needs to win, but let him make the Final Four at least one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. I believe I saw somebody post on Facebook that said that they actually wanted, Kofi to be one of the last four to be in the Royal Rumble to go on to win and get a belt. I mean, I'm sure he's not going to get that far, but, yeah, I agree with you. Let him be in the Final Four for once, because he's always giving us excitement of what he's doing and how he's saving himself, to stay in the Rumble.
Yes. Now, okay. Now, did anybody expect for Del Rio to win the Rumble when he did?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
What about Sheamus? Those are the forgotten Rumbles. Those are the ones like, oh crap, they did win it.
Yeah, they did.
Sheamus was weird. I think Sheamus was a surprise, but it was weird because when he won, that was when Jericho came back, and if you guys remember, he was doing the whole silent troll thing where he wasn't talking, sort of.
Right.
So people thought he was going to win, but then Sheamus won. So I guess that was a genuine surprise. The problem with Sheamus is that the aftermath didn't really hurt him. They did the whole 18-second thing at WrestleMania, and it backfired. It got Bryan over instead. So I think that's why fans kind of dismissed the whole Sheamus thing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Anybody, can y'all think of that time y'all was surprised when someone won the Rumble, even to go back in the day in the 80s and the 90s?
It's been that long, man. It really has.
Yeah, it has been.
Every year it's always like one person that's obvious,
so
or it's like two
me,
people.
Toph, you're not old enough. Answer to Queen. You knew it was going to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan that won the Rumble in 1988.
You're so
Really, Jack?
We remember Hacksaw Jimmy Duggan.
No.
Toph's a little younger. Saltine?
No, I wouldn't know that because we didn't have the internet back then. So it was like, hey, surprise us. So that was like a good thing back then.
It was no internet back then, but we all knew Hogan was winning in 90 and 91.
Yeah, yeah.
We knew that.
He was the top guy.
It was always a surprise to me, man. It was always a surprise to me. Now, no, it's no surprise because you know who's going to win. No, back then, no, it wasn't.
No.
I didn't know who was going to win.
And let's shout out to the one Rumble winner that gets less treatment than even Yokozuna, who won the Rumble, and even lesser treatment when Bret Hart, for some reason, WWE don't like talking about 93 and the 94 Rumble. They just like zoom past it.
No, we know why, Jack. We know why.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Bret Hart.
But
Lex Luger, Bret Hart winning.
Right. Oh gosh. Don't even get me so started on 94, 95 years.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Dark times, medieval times.
Which I will announce that will be our first debate show of the year. Is 1994 versus 1995. What year was
gosh.
That's like debating between. That's like debating between Dragon Ball Evolution and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's like, okay, you want to swallow poison or you want to get a gunshot to the head?
Yeah, debating WrestleMania 11 or WrestleMania 13. Honestly, 12 wasn't all that great. The only thing that saved 12 was Bret and Austin.
No, 12 was
no,
12
sorry,
was shit
Botch.
too.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. 12 was just Bret and Michaels. In the parking lot brawl. Other than that, no one remembers what happened. I know we're going off topic, but that's how we doing the show. But yeah, the Rumble
Stone
winner,
Cold and Savio Vega on WrestleMania 12.
Oh God. Savio Vega.
Wow.
You know,
hey, man, shout outs to Savia. That theme song he had was always used in the Captain D's commercials. Y'all knew what I'm talking about. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. What's his theme to see when it be in them tampons, Pantex commercials? The little
in the 90s.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I always wondered
Savio Vega looked like, when you played an arcade game and like two people chose the same character and it was like some default ugly color nobody wanted. That's like the kind of colors he wore.
Oh my God.
Where is he now? Anybody know
well, I will say, we saw Savio at Dallas. We was on Dallas for WrestleMania. Actually, your Queen used with us. Remember, we saw Savio, a great guy. Last time I spoke to Savio off air, gosh, Savio has hella grandkids.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like a daycare in this house. But seriously, Savio's a good guy to me. He was always a good guy to us and some of our other partners. But I always wondered, that man, why did he wear denim? Like I had his little action figure there with the little skull, the little Black Panther cap with his SV. And his
my God.
What was the name of Savio's little group like in '97?
Las Mariquas.
Yeah, when they were feuding with the Disciples of Apocalypse, was that their name?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, man. I was so into that feud when I was like a kid. I was like 8. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was awesome.
We can take the whole rest of the show. Gang Rules, Survivor Series, Las Mariquas. That's just how we do here under the Mat Radio. Talk. Don't worry, we'll get to the other topics that's on paper, but as we do improv. Gang Rules, you had
Ahmed Johnson, Nation Domination.
He had the Nation, which was Farouk, Baby Rock, Kama Mustafa with Godfather, or Papa Shango, which some people still don't know they were the same person.
Yep.
Right.
D'Lo Brown.
And
Mark Henry, or Tony Atlas
and the
Mark
two
Henry.
rappers.
No, wait.
Clarence Mitchell.
Wait, now Farouk kicked out most of those folks, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh my goodness.
Come to think of it. Yes, I forgot something. Clarence Mitchell was a part of the Nation. This is before Owen. So the Nation had, 7 people? You had PG-13, which is J.B. Dundee and Wolf, or Wolfie D. You had Farouk, Rock, Kama, Mark Henry, D'Lo Brown.
I like that one, Mark Henry.
D'Lo Brown. Yeah, that's what Tony Evans calls was Mark Henry. Shout out to the Chuckster who pointed that out in an episode of ECW.
Hey, do y'all remember when D'Lo used to climb up on the top rope and his head just roll? What was up with that?
Oh, the bobblehead. Shout out to Mama Tex. He used to love the D'Lo Brown bobblehead.
Shout out to the chest protector he wore forever.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, who they need to have a chest protector match Come back, D'Lo Brown, and face Roman Reigns.
Oh my goodness.
D'Lo would win.
But wait, is that even a chest protector, or is that like a bulletproof vest? I think technically it's a bulletproof vest because the shield was supposed to be like military,
Lord.
Call of Duty, SOCOM. Remember that game, SOCOM?
Yep.
Man, Roman is so lucky that he was not around when Russo was, because Roman would totally have someone shoot Roman for real. Who shot Roman as a way to take him off TV for like 5 months?
Believe that.
Do y'all know that the Nation of Domination only lasted for 2 years? They lasted from 96 to 98. They debuted in November 96, and they disbanded in November of 98. How is that? Wow.
Crazy.
Go to.
I was going to say, one of the weird things about the Nation is, like, back then, a lot of factions would end and then get back together somehow. Nation was, like, one of the few factions that, like, it was around, and then, like, when they ended, like, that was it. It never came back. So I think that's why, like, so many fans look back on it fondly, because, when a group dies and then gets resurrected or revived under a new banner, it kind of loses its luster, But the Nation was one of the few groups where, like, it had a run and then it ended, and that was kind of it. So,
Man,
it was
their motto, by any means necessary.
Oh my God!
How could we forget about our man, our good old brother, Ahmed Johnson?
Yeah.
We can't.
Yes, he was in there.
Which they were legit. You thought it was scared. So you had the Nation, and I'll never forget that Raw when Ahmed traded on Undertaker, put him in the Pearl River Plunge, and turned air quote heel, which is weird. Which is weird because
I thought
Ahmed
Ahmed was
Johnson
a
traded
Pokemon.
on Taker. Right, he was Pokemon. Ahmed Johnson traded on Taker, but yet it set it up for Taker against Farouk, that one pay-per-view that In Your House no one talks about.
Yes.
So you had Nation of Domination, you had Disciples of Apocalypse, which was Crush, the late Crush.
Yes, Crush was in there.
Brian Lee.
We can talk about his career. He's been everywhere. Crush, Brian Lee, who was fake Undertaker, an Underfaker, and you had the Hurt Brothers, which
not Don Hurt.
You forgot the best part, Tech.
Who also used to be the Zabakaya, Jacob Eli Blue.
The worst part, I know people listening. What's that, Queen?
No, I'm listening. Okay, they have Farouk, Clarence Mason, J.C. Ice, Ricky D. Crush, Brown, Fabio Vega, Kama Mustafa, Ahmed Johnson, Rocky, Mark Henry, and Owen Hart, who came in just when they were about to get disbanded a month later.
Yes.
Owen Hart was the leader at that time.
To me, the best part of the Nation, this confused me so much. This technical, I think we had this talk, like, it was like one of our first actual talks off air. My father told me once that he told me that this finisher was so bad it exposed the business. Shout outs to Crush and the Heart Punch.
Yeah, that was ex-Jailbird Crush, D-Block, Oz version of Crush.
Yes.
Had the Heart Punch and the Cranium. Remember the Cranium Crush in the video game?
Yeah.
I actually tried that move. One of my friends in school realized it really worked. Thought it was fake.
I'm looking at saying that the Nation of Domination was also in the promotion for USWA.
Oh wow. Did not know that. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Who was that?
They were, who was in that group? Let me see. In the USWA was PG-13, Kareem Rawajawan, I guess I'm saying his name right, Sir Muhammad, Akeem Muhammad, Elijah, Shaquille Ali, and Queen Mo Issa, and Randy X. I don't ask you. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, like we're getting the pictures now.
Okay. Yes, I need the picture
Wait,
for that.
guys, wait. Shout out to the other random black.
That was Jackie.
Wait. Oh, crap. Savio Vega
crap.
was a part of the nation too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, he was.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the other random black guy that used to be with Clarence Mason.
Yeah.
It was the other random black guy that had glasses and the Nation of Islam bow tie.
yeah.
No one knew his name.
And Sir Muhammad was played by the other half of Mom, Mabel.
Coming on a mission. Yeah,
Mabel.
Yeah, Mabel.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. You know what?
Yeah, he was in there.
I forgot all about them.
Yep.
There's a good point. I forgot all about them. Yeah, good point, F. Queen. So you had the Nation, you had DOA.
Del Rio. He played Eliza? I'm getting confused with this stuff, so, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we remember it.
I was like...
Yeah, we remember that. It was, Disciples of Apocalypse, you had the Nation of Domination, Los Barricos, which was Savio Vega, who was a part of the Nation, then made his own Latino group. Jesus, I don't even know the other guys' names. You have to look them up. Now, what I do remember is that one of the guys, Edge, made his debut on Raw, and I remember he went against one of the members of Los Barricos, and he started the match early because he got a stinger. I forgot Steroid's neck. Okay, here you go. Savio Vega was the leader. Then you had Miguel Perez, Jose Estrada Jr., and Jesus Castillo. That was the member of the Los Barricos. Miguel Perez, I definitely remember him. He wrestled ECW, did a brief stint, wrestled in WWF. He used to be Crash the Terminator and was featured with the Headhunters. So I do remember he did some work in the IWA in Puerto Rico. So I remember Miguel Perez. So like you said, those stables back in the day.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I don't know how I could forget that Jackie was in the Nation of Domination as Queen Moesha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And who can forget my personal favorite, Kai and Tai, a.k.a. Choppy Choppy PP.
Oh, yeah. And he commentated on for the pay-per-views with Sho Funaki.
That is true. Yeah, Funaki, Dick Togo, half of Kansai is doing the Japanese commentary now.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, it sure is. Funaki.
Yeah, it's good old days. Of course, you got the Job Squad, you know.
Yeah, that was all the jobbers, right? How many was it?
Well, yeah, Al Snow, you had Foley, Test, the late great John Tensor, who was he was in it, and then of course you had the Oddities, which
right.
Yeah, had the Oddities, but like you said, it's back in the day, all those stables. But back to my original point was the Rumble winner that gets no love at all, like Curlin from Dragon Ball Z, is Big John Studd, who won in 1989. No one ever talked about that Rumble. I've watched that Rumble.
No, they don't.
And a lot of the older Rumbles was, a lot to be desired. But one thing I liked about the Rumble was, which I honestly would do now if it was me, cut out the entrance music. I'll only have entrance music for the first two participants, and then, 3 through 30, no entrance music. It makes a surprise. You hear the entrance music, you already knew who's coming out. And then the way WWE does it, echo like it's random.
Yeah, that's what I meant by them taking it back to the old days when we didn't know who was in the Rumble, and whenever they came out after the countdown, it was a surprise of who was going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, and shout out to Hogan, who got away with a lot of cheating back in the day. Let's all shout out to where Hogan actually cheated and eliminated Sid. in the 92 Rumble with Flair.
Oh,
Remember Hogan stood in the
I
8?
can't remember that one.
Remember,
I mean, I remember
Hogan
seeing
stood.
it, but I don't remember what happened.
Now, am I correct, guys? Was it 92 Rumble with Flair where Hogan stood on the 8? Hogan stood outside. He was eliminated, and he grabbed Sid's arm, and Flair ended up tossing him over the rope.
Yeah. Now I remember. I see it now.
Yeah.
Yep, sure was.
Which is really illegal, but it's Hogan. Don't even get me started on Hogan, and he got a pass for a lot of things. Don't even let's talk about WrestleMania 9. With Brett. I'm pretty sure Brett's still mad about that today. Yep. One thing we haven't mentioned, which we could talk about the week of the Rumble, was surprise entrance. Like you said, New Day's in S3. Of course, Braun Strowman. You got Goldberg. You got Brock. You got Jericho. And then you have Baron Corbin. I'm pretty sure Ziggler's going to be in it and keep pushing his heel turn. And, there's just something to see. And it's in Texas.
Yeah, it is. Wasn't one of the Rumbles, if I can remember correctly, and if I got it wrong, y'all can let me know. But wasn't China one of the surprise entrants in the Rumble? And she was the only woman that asked.
Yeah, that was it 99?
Yeah, 99. Yep.
99
okay, well, I was right.
Then after that, I think the next woman was Beth Phoenix. I think she was the only other woman to be in the Rumble.
Yep.
No, Awesome Kong.
No.
Karma was the third one.
Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, Awesome Kong and Beth P. Yeah. She disappeared from WWE. Seriously, because of that situation she had. She should have came back.
She was pregnant. She was pregnant. She started crying on live TV. Remember?
Yeah.
No, she was pregnant.
She
and
was
that's the reason
pregnant.
why she left, and then she lost the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was crying on live TV. Remember that?
Yeah, I thought that was a storyline or I was like, why?
Nah, that was legit.
No, that was real.
I remember that.
That was legit.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to mention this news because we do know this legend personally. Not sure if you guys know, but Jimmy Snuka, murder charges against Jimmy Superfly Snuka were dropped.
Wow.
So shout out to my Mama Tech who said woo woo. So yeah,
Do we know how he's doing? I heard that he wasn't doing too well.
Snuka isn't doing well. They said just keep him in prayers. He's not on the deathbed. So anybody listening to this live or listening to this tape, I don't want nobody going to the dirt sheets under the Mat Radio said Snuka's not on his deathbed, but his health isn't at the best. I mean, Snuka's older. Snuka is dealing with some health issues, but they said just wish him the best. Good guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Snuka's theme song was kind of cool. Just Superfly.
Yeah, it was.
Except for that theme music from WCW. We can do a whole nother show on theme songs. Gosh.
WCW. There's some interesting ones.
So Snuka's charges dropped. We can move on for our lives with that. Which don't be surprised if you start seeing Tamina back on TV. Because you notice Tamina was getting the push, and then they reopened the case and they just took her off TV. They brought her back on TV, and now the whole case got opened up and they took her off TV. So now hopefully they can bring her back TV because that is Snuka's daughter, which is why they dropped Tamina Snuka. Well, WWE just has this fetish of this thing where they just like first names. It is like people going by a first name basis. If they go by your last name with your first name, no one has last names anymore. I mean, except for government like John Cena, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. Goldberg is Goldberg, Lashley's Lashley.
Well, actually,
even Charlotte
started using her last name. She came in because she started using her last name.
Right. Even now, even they she's a Flair, but they just really just say Charlotte. They don't really mention the Flair thing, which I can understand because her dad's Ric Flair, so you don't really want to, you really don't want to overshadow that. But with that, to go on with Raw, is I don't want to. I do want to mention SmackDown. I did get some notes just now from some fans about what happened on SmackDown tonight. I did not watch it. I will watch it later. I know after your Queen, I know you was on your have not kicks tonight, so I know you have to watch SmackDown again. So I'm not going to talk about SmackDown tonight on what happened, but Raw, the whole promo with Goldberg coming and the New Day segment, which I thought was funny with Titus O'Neil twerking. What was your thoughts? Start off with Toph. Your thoughts on the end segment and Titus O'Neil, which I thought and we'll get to the last man standing match too.
I fast forwarded through it like I do everything on Raw, so that's all I got.
You fast forwarded through the Titus twerks, so you didn't want to see Titus O'Neil twerking?
Nah.
I will say, for me, that segment did make me chuckle. I thought it was funny. He did do a pretty good spot on impression of Big E doing the whole New Day beginning. I thought the segment was funny. It's one of the few things I thought was funny for a while on Raw. You got to see. Love New Day using a lot of innuendos with that. But and I do like how they improvised where, as they were saying, the WWE Champion promo, their catchphrase, they had to wait till they got in the ring. The crowd started saying it, and Xavier would say, "Hold on, guys, give us a second." So I thought that was funny. Salt, your thoughts, Titus O'Neil? Did you enjoy seeing him twerking?
No, I didn't do that crazy shit, but I will say the way he talks on the microphone, it just sounds like a fucking donkey. When you go, ooh, don't you know, be so, ooh, like what the fuck, that's how I was laughing my ass off. He just sound like a donkey on the microphone, like what the fuck, yo.
Oh my god.
He really can't.
He can't talk.
He really can't talk. I thought it was just him on TV. And yes, I'm going to say something I've never said on this show before, bringing in the new year. I watched an episode of Total Divas. Yes, I was half asleep on one. But I did, yeah, thanks. I did watch an episode of Total Divas. And, Titus O'Neil, which the episode actually wasn't bad. I don't know why they're making a Marine 5, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, God.
Titus O'Neil was there because Natalie was trying to help her sister with the cooking class, so Titus O'Neil was there, Big E, Titus O'Neil's sons, which Chuckle, we'll talk about that too. And Titus O'Neil can't talk. He does sound like a donkey. I thought maybe he's just stage fright. No, that's how he talks. He just kind of sounds like Shaq.
Yeah,
sounds like Shaq.
A bunch of garble. Can't understand what he's saying.
Well, as your Queen says, you're the female on the crew at the moment. Did you enjoy seeing the Titus twerks?
No. It was funny as hell because I was sitting there. Of course, I had to pause it for a minute. I had to go take care of my mom. She came back and got to that point, and I'm like, what the hell? Why the hell? And who the hell let Titus O'Neil out on stage and talking and twerking, and then got his ass beat by Xavier Woods? And you got the ass beat because you twerked. That's leave the twerking to Kofi. That's his thing.
What I will say is, even though the segment, it did make Titus O'Neil look a little, it did show he had some funny side. The fans were chanting with him, so maybe they're on to something with him, because maybe he could be a comedic character. Because the whole Titus O'Neil, the Titus brand thing, I mean, maybe he needs to be a comedic character, similar to a Santino, or maybe he needs to be that to kind of get over it. If the fans were chanting with him, the fans liked it, so maybe you hit on something. Keep having him feed with New Day.
Yeah.
Maybe like our buddy Disco. Remember WCW when they did the storyline where Disco was trying to get with NWO? Remember that?
Oh,
and he kept thinking he was like a member of the NWO, but he really wasn't. Maybe they could do that kind of storyline where Titus keeps trying to be with New Day and have him face the New Day members and kind of beat him and kind of lose. He needs something.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to his theme song. Maybe he had his own theme song and he just went back to Primetime Players theme song, which asks the question of, speaking of milk cartons, are they going to repackage Darren Young again for the 80th time?
See, here's the problem with WWE. I've seen this a lot. Like every time they bring somebody back and then they get bored with them, they just forget about them like for months and months, and they come out of the ordinary in some segment like, where the fuck y'all came from? What the fuck, Jinder Mahal? Like, what the hell? Where y'all came from? It's like they ignored them and just bring them in at random times, and it don't make sense. If you ain't gonna use them at all, just get rid of them. You know, it's wasting their time. You just basically collecting their paycheck at home and shit. That's what I don't like about WWE.
Well, if you ever watch Total Divas,
No, we're not watching.
They have on there. No, listen. If you have watched it, they sometimes do come in and tell you that they don't have anything, no kind of storylines for some of the wrestlers, and that's the reason why they're not on TV. Because they've done it to Eve, they've done it to Paige, done it to Natalia. They just don't have anything for them at that time.
Eva, she can go. So Eva
just needs to go all together. And here they coming with this damn Emelina. How long has he been premiering now? So I don't know how long.
There's a counter for that. I think Botchamania is doing a counter. It's been coming for like about 2.5 months now. So
yeah,
they just need to come on with it if they're gonna bring her. If they not, stop premiering her. It's getting real old.
Well, yeah, it's like a trolling. That Emelina. What happened to the bubbles? I think remember one time on Raw. I think it was Raw. Emma is the one that had the bubbles, right? Which people tend to acts like we just forget stuff. She had the bubble machine, and they just took the money from the bubble machine budget and gave it to Bailey with the what you call them, huggable, them wacky waves. The thing to be at the car dealerships.
Yeah, the wacky waving inflatable tube men.
Yep.
Wacky waving.
That girl looks weird. I'm sorry. That girl looks weird to me, like an anime character, Bailey.
Who,
I love
Bailey?
her character and all, but yeah, she looks weird to me. Which goes to the end segment with Goldberg, Reigns, which I will say this. I put out